Ding dong merrily and lie, oh Pritchard's in the kitchen. La, 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 la. Yeah, it's Christmas time. Ho, 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 ho. And I'm in the kitchen cooking some vegan shizzle to get your mouth watering. Oh God, I'm out of breath after saying all that. Right, today we are cooking the main meal. The one where you put it onto the table and everyone sat around has that Bisto moment. It goes, So it's got to look good. So today we're going to make a mushroom and sweet potato Wellington. Don't forget, before we get into the recipe and the ingredients, I did my starter yesterday, so go and check it out on my YouTube channel. But before we get stuck in, I think I'm going to have, it is Christmas after all, I'm going to have a non-alcoholic champagne. This is going to be my first dry Christmas since the age of 21. I have now been sober for, today it's day 81 of soberism. Cheers. Right, anyway, let's get on with this recipe. I have got, obviously it's going to be a mushroom and sweet potato Wellington. That's going to be the main ingredient. Full of vitamin D, which is good for this time of year because we've got barely any sun. Obviously, sweet potato already boiled. I don't need to show you how to boil potatoes. If I do, then Christ, you need help. Just diced and peeled and kept like that, basically. And I've got some soy sauce. I've got balsamic. I've got tomato puree. And of course, I got dairy-free Parmesan cheese. And I've got some pine nuts. And obviously, to start with, we've got the celery, red onion. You know I like my garlic, so I've got plenty of garlic. And the herbs we're going to use, fresh sage and fresh rosemary. And I got some puff pastry. Puff pastry, you can buy this, I don't know the name of the brand, but anyway, check the ingredients, it's vegan. If you're going to do your own, it's a nightmare. Buy it prepared, get it out, defrost it, leave it in the fridge, but pull it out half an hour before you start rolling it. We're going to start cutting the ingredients. Oh, I got bloody party poppers. 12 in a box of party pops. Come and get them, ladies and gentlemen. 12 in a box, 12 in a box. I got celery. Now I've got two sticks of celery. Now we're going to cut the onions. I've got 2 onions. Again, depending on how many people you've got round for dinner, depending on how many onions you're going to use. Cut the garlic, because I loves the garlic, Brad, I loves the garlic. Now we're going to go over to the stove and we're going to start to cook all that off. This is so health and safety go nuts if they see me in the kitchen with this. Look. Plenty of olive oil, and then bring your chopping board over. Listen to that, it's cooking already. The smell of onions and garlic and the celery, I love it. Whilst we're sweating off the onions and the garlic and the celery, we'll go over there and we'll chop the mushrooms up. You want it to be pretty thick, so when you're eating the Wellington, at least you've got a bit of consistency, like a meaty consistency when you're tucking into it. You don't want them too small because they'll just disappear into the, there'll be nothing there to chew on. So we'll get some of these chestnuts. I love these chestnut mushrooms, they're absolutely delicious. Don't forget, these mushrooms will get smaller and they will sweat down when we put them into the frying pan. Right, we get the mushrooms, we add them. Noel, 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 Noel. I'm actually going to use some red wine. You can use sherry, you can use whatever you want. I know it's Christmas time. I'm just going to listen to that sizzle. And that's going to clean the bottom of the pan and get all that nice tasty burnt, well not burnt bits, but brown bits. And then we're going to add soy sauce and balsamic vinegar. Again, a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. We're also going to add the tomato puree. Again, another teaspoon, a teaspoon of tomato puree should be enough. And we're going to add the pine nuts. Stir all the pine nuts in. Now this is starting to come together absolutely lovely. And we're going to put some of the herbs in. The sage, just rip the sage, Don't put the stalks in, just put these in. Rosemary, just pull it back, chuck it all in. That should be enough. Now we've got the mushrooms, the onions, the garlic, we got the seasoning in. Now we're going to add the sweet potatoes. Don't forget, you don't want this to be too wet, because you're going to put it into a pastry, and that's when you're going to make the pastry wet and it's going to seep everywhere. So it needs to be not dry, but just moist. Dairy-free Parmesan cheese, sprinkle it over the top. And look, as you can see, it's all starting to come together quite nicely. Yeah! Just to let you know, if you haven't got any dairy-free Parmesan cheese, or if you haven't got any Parmesan cheese at all, it's no biggie. I just like to put it in there, but you can do it without the Parmesan cheese. That's cooked now, so I'm going to take that off the heat whilst I'm preparing my pastry, ready to put the mixture in. If you can, and you have got time, get the mixture, let it cool down, even put it in the fridge, and let it get a bit cooler, because it'll start gelling and sticking together better. Splash some flour on you so it got something to, so it doesn't stick. And you get the flour. Bad thing about doing this, flour everywhere. And the rolling pin. Santa's got to roll the sleeves up. And just roll it out all evenly. And you want it even all over, because you're going to put stuff on there and you're going to roll it all over. Roll it all over! When you roll it out, it needs to be long enough so when you get, so depending on how much filling you put in, it's got to have enough to cover the whole fillet, because you don't want it to go up and then there's a gap in there, because you are going to be fooked. Now, that looks really good to me. To stick the pastry together, and for the glaze on top, I'm going to use some oat milk and some maple syrup, and that should give it a nice little glaze. I got a nice new pastry brush, and you want to just paste the pastry like that. You need to grease up an oven dish just so it don't stick to the bottom. You can smell that Parmesan cheese. He is kicking out a right pong. Just get a decent amount, be generous. Now we need to start closing this up, just get a better shape on it. Cut the ends off. Fold it underneath so it's all nice and closed. With the leftover pastry, I had my Sleep in Your Dead Tattoo and Barber's Christmas do the other week, and we had crackers, and this pastry cutter was in the cracker, and I thought, brilliant, this would be perfect for what I'm about to do. So cut out some holly. Right, we're going to baste the top so we can get a nice little glaze and finish on it. Using a knife, take its life. Use a knife, score the pastry, just so when it cooks, because it's puff pastry, you'll give us a nice little design. When scoring it, literally, don't put any pressure on the knife, just let the knife do the work. You don't want it to go too deep, because you're going to cut straight into it, and all the stuff's going to come pouring out when it's cooking. There we have it. The Wellington. We're going to stick this in the oven, 200 Celsius, for about 45 minutes. Keeping an eye on it, because you don't want to burn this. If you burn this, you have ruined Christmas. Stick them in the top, and whilst that's in there, I'm going to go play snowballs with Lemmy. There we have it, Pritchard's proper vegan mushroom and sweet potato Wellington. That is going to be a main, that is going to be the start of the show for your Christmas dinner. Now don't forget, I've done a starter. Check it out on my YouTube channel, and I've got my potatoes, I've got the veg, and I've got the pudding left to come. So check it all out, enjoy, and Merry Christmas. Ciao for now, ho ho. Ho, ho, ho.